Hi, this is Dennis. Second Chance Tackle. Today's a treat. I get to work on a reel. We're going to try and restore it. It's Grandpa's reel, according to the owner. It's a Penn Sea Hawk 77. This is what was marketed as an economy reel by Penn. It is a knuckle buster, no star drag. It is a relatively small frame, but it would match up with their later introduction of the Penn 160 Beachmaster. So it's capable of being fished in salt water. And actually, it would do quite well in salt water because you have the brass plated posts. I guess it's nickel plated over brass posts in the reel seat. It's a direct drive reel. We call them knuckle busters. This one is very difficult to turn. And this one probably hasn't gone fishing since, well, Grandpa's gone, I guess. This one has got very brittle monofilament on it, and very discolored monofilament on it, which will give you an idea of the age. And I also noticed as I was turning this that it's got multiple starts and stops here in terms of broken line. So my guess is this thing got snarled up somehow with a backlash and was left on a shelf somewhere. All the greases and dirt and debris dried out on it, and well, here we go. So the owner asked me if I couldn't find a way to get this tuned up, back fishing again, I guess, or at least when you put it on a shelf that it works. So what I'm going to do here, because these screws tend to get caught, I'm going to just put a little penetrating oil where the screws are going to mount to either the crossbars or the reel seat, and we'll get started. I'm going to remove the exterior pieces and parts. As I do that, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel, and if you do subscribe to the channel, please use the notification button. That'll let you know when I'm posting, and I post almost every day lately, so I would encourage you to go ahead and do that. Alright, the handle came out easy enough. We removed the handle screw and the handle itself. Then the main gear fell into the case, which is something we'll talk about in a little bit, but on reinstall, you want to put that handle back on before you put the side plate back on. Okay, we're going to see if we can't get these screws out. The first one was cooperative. And when you take these screws out, notice that there's a couple of different sizes in this reel. There's a long and a short screw. These two should be the short screws. And also when you take these out, you can notice that there is a minor difference there. Not much. Find a place for them. The place I find is in a parts tray. I use a fast food container as my parts tray. Lots of different schemes and ways to go about doing the parts management. Find them when it works for you, and that way, well, it'll be easy for you when it comes time to reinstall. And yes, for those of you that are wondering about that scrape, I was pruning rose bushes. How's that? I always have folks noticing that my hands will never work as a model's hands, right? All right, the 6 screws are out. We can pull the side plate. There it is. It's a gear. And oh, that's probably what started this poor performance here. Look at all the broken line in here. So there's probably a reason why the line is broken in several spots on the reel itself. We've got quite a bit of broken line inside this reel. Not unusual, but it will stop the performance of a reel, that's for sure. So I'll take that out, clean this side plate up, and you should be able to push out your main gear now. And we're going to use that same penetrating oil that we used earlier to wet down the side plate and the gear. I'm going to take care to get this broken line out of the way so that doesn't foul another reel. And you can see all of the grease has dried onto the side plate, making the travel for that main gear at the least difficult to navigate. So you have two things going on here. You have a broken line, and you have the broken, or the old accumulated grease. These things shine up nice. These are Belite plates. When you have a reel like this, you need to take care, because if you break the plate, well, you're done. And these plates do fracture easily. Belite is an early form of plastic. It's kind of the Art Deco time. So this reel was made in the 1950s, or introduced in the 1950s, and it actually remained popular for about 30 years till it was eventually taken out of the Penn catalog. I don't know the last day that they actually made them, but it was removed from their catalogs in the 1980s. It was referred to as an economy reel, and there was actually several reels in this C series. This one was called the Sea Hawk. The 78 was called the Sea Scamp, and I think it was the 78. Could have been the 80 if there was an 80. The 85 was called the Sea Boy. The ones I remember are Sea Hawk, Sea Scamp, Sea Boy. The gear also has broken line on it. You can see it there. So there's no question why this thing was having issues performing. And you want to make sure you clean all of that out. And a good way to do that, again, just wet the reel down the pieces with some penetrating oil. Pick off what you can. There's another, look at that pile of line there. So there's no question as to why this thing failed. We just want to make sure that when we put it back together, again, it works nice and free and easy. Just going to grab a bristle brush. You can use a toothbrush if you like. These are just kind of the everyday dollar store or Home Depot variety of the multi-pack. We can take our moment here to clean the spool. Now this has got broken line on it. I'm not going to take the time during this video to go ahead and work all that broken line out. But know that that needs to be replaced. Even if the line wasn't broken, the line is so aged that if you had any intention at all of taking it fishing, you better replace it. All right, we'll do the same thing on this side for a cleanup. While I do that, I want to encourage you to ask questions. If you are working on a reel or want to know more about a particular reel, or maybe you just found out about a reel or a type of reel and you want to learn a little bit more. Let's say you just learned about bait finesse fishing. You want to know a little bit more, just ask the question in the comment section. I will try to answer it for you. For those of you that are curious, bait finesse fishing is now supported by all kinds of manufacturers' introductions. It's a very, very low friction fishing reel system and a lightweight rod, but it enables you to cast lures as low as 1/16 of an ounce and to get it on the spot where you need it, when you need it there. We've just taken a look on the inside. It's all good. I'd leave the patina on the reels, and I don't scrub them off or buff or polish them. I like to let the reel tell the story. This has got a bait alarm that was never used or rarely used. It has a nice firm point to it, nice clean ring behind it, and we just want to make sure it's in the off position. On the back end of this, for the spool, you have the clicker that's going to intersect with. Just grab a little brush and put a light coating of grease there. I'm going to take that spool and put that back into that cavity. And one of the things you're going to notice on this reel is there are no spool adjusters. So this is just going to ride the way it is without any ability to move the spool left or right. All right, let's check the main gear. We've checked the other one. We know that there was some broken line on that. Now this is all flushed out with that penetrating oil. So we're going to go ahead and use fishing reel grease here. This is Penn Precision reel grease, and I use it because it's a fishing reel grease, not because this is a Penn reel. Most manufacturers have a reel grease that they include or recommend for use with their reels. Almost all of them never make it themselves. Somebody else is doing it. Just make sure that the reel grease that you have for your reel is fishing reel grease. The manufacturer's secondary. All right, I started to put that back in. Notice there was some dirt in there, maybe even some broken line. So, yep, we're going to clean all of that out before we go any further there. And we have that same pivot hole for the other side of the spool here, when you want to put some grease into that. And you don't have to glob it in. Globbing it in will result in it all sticking here and kind of causing the same issues as before with this. All right, that gear is on. And as I mentioned, you need to hold this gear from the back end and put that handle on next. You'll simply push it through if you try to put the whole side case back on and then mount the handle. It just never works. You can see it's falling off right here. And we haven't even put it on the reel. All right. Use the right screwdriver for the slot in the screw. Don't use an undersized one. It will tend to burr it up. And eventually, it's what I call butterflying. It will collapse, widen, and well, by the time you get done with injuring that, you won't be able to remove it. All right, or reset it again. All right, here we go. A bit of grease on this side. Again, just checking for any random pieces that may be left over from that broken line. So why did the reel fail? Broken line. We saw the backlash evidence. This one gets a second chance. So this is what's called a knuckle buster. That means that the reel's going to turn both ways. And when you cast, if you don't have your hands clear of the reel, it's going to turn backwards on you. It could hit your hand, or as they say, break a knuckle. All right, 2 different size screws. Remember, this is a shorter one and a longer one. I like to go in a pattern that distributes the torsion on that side plate so that it's equal throughout. I think we have to probably push up on this a little bit. There we go. Take another of the longer screws back to this side. So Penn made all kinds of reels. They started making reels in the late 1930s. By the 50s, they were the leader of the reels. By 57, Ocean City, who Penn kind of set as their competition, went out of business. Penn was able to produce similar reels at a more economical price, and the popularity of the reels just all kind of left Ocean City in the dust, if you will. In 57, Ocean City was sold to True Temper. They ran the reels under the True Temper brand for another dozen years or so. By the 70s, those were discontinued as well, which is a shame because the Ocean City reels were fine products. Here we go. What did we do? We took the reel out, we closed up collected up and got rid of a whole bunch of this broken line. We'll take that broken line off after the video. It's going to take me 10 to 12 minutes at a minimum. I like to say that, and it's going to probably take me half an hour because there's so many different broken pieces in here. But we took all the broken line off. We checked to make sure all the parts were firm. We cleaned the reel. We left the patina on the reel. Cleaned all the working parts, greased them up, put them back together again. This is what we have. Let's take a look. Oh, look at that. Nice and free and easy turning. Again, you do not have a spool adjuster on this, so what you have is what you have in that regard. But everything that needed to be done is done. This is the back, which interestingly enough, if you wanted to fish the reel left-handed, well, you could do that too. Just switch it in the rod seat. There you go. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. Before I leave, I want to thank our first responders, our police, fire, safety, rescue, and everybody involved in keeping us out of harm's way. I truly do appreciate your career choice and what you do day in and day out. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, thanking everybody for watching, wishing everybody a great day.